with the VIP. All right, well, it is 6 o'clock, so I'll call it to order. We'll open with our pledge of allegiance. Yeah, we moved it.
Jeez.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll start with our council reports here this evening while everyone gets situated. I have very little to report. I was sworn into office last Monday along with council members Soini and Brick here at City Hall. And I'm pleased to report that my children only caused a mild disruption to city work that day. Since then, I've started to settle into my new role through the ever exciting and not at all ceremonious check signing duties. I want to start, I have a little bit of a speech, so bear with me. But I very much look forward to working with each of you over the next 2 years and perhaps longer. I honestly believe that we have a strong group of dedicated individuals who have time and time again demonstrated a strong commitment to our city, and I believe that we are going to do great things for Paynesville. As your mayor, I intend to do things much as Mayor Thompson did for years in terms of presiding over these meetings. One thing, however, that I do wish to change up just a little bit is this report provision of the agenda. I think everyone involved in the city's committees puts a lot of work and time into preparing for these committee meetings and going to them. And I think it's somewhat disingenuous for us as council members to simply say, I went to A, B, and C meetings. And what I'd like to ask for is that when we give our report, that along with listing off what meetings we went to, we perhaps take just a minute or two to talk about some of the important things that those committees are working on. I think that brings that to everyone's attention so that we can hear about it, ask questions, rather than just looking at the minutes. I'd also like to challenge each of you as we start to attend our committee meetings to try and find a project for the committee. Something that you can do to spearhead to make a difference for our city rather than maintaining the status quo. One example I can think of might be the environmental committee taking on some sort of project rather than simply focusing on the environmental waste, the citywide cleanup. There's other things they might be able to do. I don't know what those ideas are, but we're all smart people. We can figure that out. So I'd like to set forth that challenge to each of you. And then I also feel compelled to discuss the events that occurred last Wednesday at our nation's capital. Last November's election was the most contentious election of my lifetime, and I pray that we never see a contention like that in an election again. While it was invigorating to see so many take to the polls, the distrust and discord sown after the election will leave a stain on our democracy for many years. Following that election, top-level Trump administration officials described the election as, quote, the most secure in American history, and said that, quote, there is no evidence that any voting system deleted or lost votes, changed votes, or was in any way compromised. Nonetheless, many of our elected officials have claimed otherwise. Many of them have lied to the American public, claiming that the election was fraudulent or somehow stolen. Their claims have been reviewed by Democratic and Republican election officials and refuted. The claims have been reviewed by state legislatures and refuted. The claims have been reviewed by the court in over 64 lawsuits, including 2 at the United States Supreme Court, and refuted. William Barr, when he was serving as Attorney General following his appointment by President Trump, even acknowledged that there was no evidence of fraud on a level necessary to change the results of the election. Yet last week, when Congress set about its constitutional duty to count the votes of the Electoral College, a group of rioters broke through the security at our nation's capital in what was an apparent attempt to kill the Vice President and Speaker of the House. They did this based on the reliance of statements made by those they trust. During that riot, some of our elected officials, instead of calling for an end to the violence and distrust, fed into it by announcing that they would challenge or continue to challenge the votes of the states, even though they had no constitutional means to overturn the election. As a result, 6 American citizens have died. My opinion as mayor of Paynesville means very little in the grand scheme of this discussion. I realize that, and I don't make this speech to make a national dialogue. But yet I feel compelled to address it because we as elected officials need to consider carefully the events that occurred and our duty to those we serve. We each took an oath to serve and defend the constitutions of the United States and of Minnesota. We each took an oath to serve the citizens of our city. As elected officials, we must recognize that our words carry weight. When we speak in our official capacities, people listen. If we espouse the same conspiracy theories, such as the ones I just described, we not only run the risk of fostering some of the same attitudes that caused the destruction and loss of life, but we lose our integrity with those with whom we serve. First and foremost, we serve the people of Paynesville. We owe them our honesty and our integrity. I say these words tonight not to blame any of you or accuse any of you of violating your oath, but simply to remind us each of the power of our words and to remind us that in our roles, our power comes from the pen, not the sword. Our words matter. Each and every one of us sitting at this table are people of honor and integrity, and I don't doubt any of that for a moment. But the events of last week, where the flags of our nation's prior enemies were flown in our capital, where a mob stormed through the security gates and stood in the well of our Congress, and where 6 people have since lost their lives, those events were simply too great for me to ignore tonight. I thank you all for indulging me. Again, I look forward to working with each of you over the next years so that we can do all that we've come here to do, which is to make our city the best it can be. So with that, I will turn to Councilmember Hertzberg.
Nothing in the past 2 weeks.
Thank you. Councilmember Slaney?
No, nothing to report.
Councilmember Brick?
Nothing to report.
All right. And before us, we have some department head reports. I'll start with Mr. Mergen.
Okay, thank you. First of all, the outdoor skating rink is open and being used quite heavily from the way I understand it. Our spring cleanup, part of the environmental committee there, has scheduled April 24th, and it will again be up at the Township Hall. Park reservations for all the facilities can be made down here at City Hall. Airport, the fly-in will be August the 7th. I know that committee has been working on it, and they will have a fairly decent or large displays. And also at the airport, remember last summer we did order a new card reader out there. That has finally been installed. Snow removal, I guess I would like to remind residents also, clean your sidewalks, please. It does create hazardous conditions if it is not. Also in your packet under informational, the Stearns County solid waste management plan is going to be updated. They have invited me and asked if there's any other individuals that would like to sit in on it. The information is in the packet there. And then the water consumption for 2020 was at 219 million gallons. That's up about 25 million from the previous year. I guess that it would be due directly to the dry spring we had and our one major consumer. Thank you.
Mr. Alrafai.
Yes. Well, last week or last council meeting, I said I'll give you an update on some of the meetings we're having with the companies in town. Ron Mergen and I met with approximately 10 companies, and we continue to meet with more as we can. And the whole purpose of this is kind of just introduce ourselves and try to learn about their business and see how the city can support them. And I was actually quite glad to hear on a positive note that a lot of these companies are doing quite well. Many of them are in the industrial and manufacturing space, especially in this environment. But on that note, and as a result of that, they're facing some challenges, which a lot of them face the same challenges, which two issues that they're facing are, number one, difficulty or lack of finding qualified people or being able to fill the open positions they have. And two, which is related to it, lack of adequate or enough affordable housing for people who don't already live here to come and move here to take the jobs that are available. So I think, these are the two most pressing issues from an economic development perspective that if we were to address, it would greatly help our local companies. And then item number two, next week I will be working remotely per the terms of my employment agreement, but I will be available as usual. Thank you.
Thank you. So before us, we have our consent agenda, and we'd be looking for a motion to approve. On the consent agenda, we have our minutes from our previous council meeting, along with the vouchers listed on page 2, totaling $164,145.86.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion by Hertzberg, second by Soini. Any discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That'll carry. Okay, then moving on, we have presentation from folks from the hospital district. I don't know who's been appointed to speak. We met on this earlier today. I can give a recap if you'd like, or if you just want to launch into it anew.
Kind of an awkward spot to be here. Sit over here.
The podium.
Oh, okay. Didn't see that back here. Well, thanks so much for hearing this evening. I'm Brandon Peach, and I'm the administrator for CentraCare Painesville. And with me tonight are Bob Brockler, and Bob is the chairman of the Painesville Area Hospital District. Ross Amundson, Ross is the vice chair. And then many of you know Jeff Thompson, and Jeff is newly elected as the City of Painesville representative on the Painesville Area Hospital District Board. And I'm not sure, I believe there was a summary in your packet with regard to why we're here this evening, but I do want to just provide a little bit of an overview with that. Basically why we're here this evening is to provide an update on what's happening with the process related to CentraCare's exercise of their option to purchase the district assets, which were an opportunity that CentraCare had as part of the 2013 affiliation agreement when CentraCare and the hospital district came together to provide healthcare services in the community. We also want to share a little bit of the history and the status of the commitments that were made in the 2013 agreement. And then we have a request for the city to consider with regard to dissolution of the Painesville Area Hospital District. This action tonight is basically the first step in starting the process to dissolve the district. As a government entity, the hospital district cannot dissolve itself. And one of the constituent members, which is one of the 12 entities that comprise the district, in which the city of Painesville was one of the original members, has to petition for that dissolution. And so the hospital district board felt that it would be appropriate to ask the city of Painesville to consider that request and resolution based on the fact that the campus and the hospital operations were a city hospital prior to becoming a district when the district was formed. And, pardon? The city has not been party to the affiliation agreement. There were some releases that were handled in the original documents, but through the amendment that was made, they're not. It's not like we're asking you to vote on the amendment or anything like that. This is follow-up with regard to the dissolution. The ask would be that the city would monitor the final remaining commitment, which is essentially the completion of the significant capital renovation project of the hospital and clinic, and then also receive the certificate of completion once that project has been completed. And those are included in your packet, that certificate. So with that, I would like to just go over a quick slide deck presentation for you to update you on the information that gives you the status of the original affiliation agreement, and then we answer any questions that you might have and then turn it back for your discussion. The 2013 agreement included strategic commitments to Paynesville Area Healthcare System, and there are essentially 4 areas that were focused on as part of those commitments. There were bricks and mortar commitments, there were service commitments, there were commitments to the medical staff, and then there were also general operational commitments that were made. So as far as the bricks and mortar commitments, the capital support commitment was an investment of $25 million by Centricare into the campus over the 10 years of the first lease. And through June 30th of 2020, $13.2 million of those funds have been spent for enhancements on the campus to upgrade equipment and provide other facility enhancements to better serve our patients. In addition to the capital support, there were additional items that were noted in the original agreement. These are over and above that $25 million commitment. One was the installation and implementation of our electronic healthcare record, and that was $523,000. That was completed in October of 2013. Purchase of a new ambulance completed in June of 2014 for $145,000. Acquisition of a new MRI scanner and the related structure. The structure cost was $344,440. Renovation of the nursing home care center day room, that was completed in 2015 for $450,000. There were some signage updates that were done. And then there was a commitment to do a feasibility study for hospital and clinic, either replacement or a remodel project.
Can I stop you for just a second? I got a message from somebody trying to watch us on the cable that your microphone might not be on. So I don't know if there's a way we can check with Kristen to...
Is that better? That sounds better.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Sorry about that.
No, sorry for interrupting you.
So Centricare, Paynesville, and the Paynesville Area Hospital District made amendments to that 2013 affiliation agreement in following through with the option that Centricare had to take over the campus and the assets of the hospital district. An internal analysis was done and deemed that a renovation project is what was feasible. In the end, whatever we do with the project in Paynesville, we do need to be able to support the debt service capacity for that project. We also determined that the existing site can accommodate a renovation project. Current department locations, for example, the laboratory, pharmacy, imaging, operating rooms, they're properly aligned for efficient use. And many of those areas have been updated as part of that $25 million commitment. So that allows us to leverage those areas that we've invested in already. Centricare's commitment to undertake and complete this project substantially meets the requirement for Centricare's exercise option, which it has done. So the project features that have been listed in the Painesville Press the last 2 years, most recently following the district board meeting in September, include increased quantity of parking with the ability of future parking expansion, a separate entrance for ambulance access, a new main entrance with a covered drop-off, med-surg rooms and ED that are adjacent to the existing surgery areas, relocation of the helipad on site, and then some buffer space to create for better views out of patient rooms and to enhance the area of the campus. You can see in the packet there's a rendering from the architect just to kind of give you a possibility of what it may look like. The orientation would be as if you were standing on Stearns Avenue on about a 20-foot ladder and looking to the northeast. So currently that side of the building is where we have a garage, employee parking, and the emergency department entrance is currently on that side. So that kind of summarizes the bricks and mortar commitments. The next area of commitments that were made were for service commitments. And so for the term of the lease, which was for 10 years, there were commitments for retaining healthcare facility operations, including the hospital, the care center, emergency department services, our ambulance, assisted living, and our independent living, Stearns Place. There was also a commitment to maintain and expand physician specialty services, and during that, over the last 8 years, we've introduced new services to the community, including expanded orthopedic surgery, wound care, telebehavioral health, and weight management. So those are some examples, and it looks like we're going to be soon to be able to offer ENT services and expanded dermatology, so we're excited about those offerings coming up as well. Medical staff commitments were the third area, and the commitments that were made were to maintain an open medical staff, maintain the scope of privilege for our physicians, and during that time frame, we've had new providers that have joined our campus. Dr. Chris Anderson, Dr. John Tronis, Dr. Janelle Zimmerman, and then APPs, including Alicia Glimsdahl, Ryan Merrick, Angie Paschke, Kristen Pomplin, Tammy Ahmet, and Nancy Drange. And then the final area of commitment were operational commitments, basically that we would not be distributing equity or any other interest or gifts from CentraCare Health to Painesville to CentraCare, and that the system charges that Painesville incurred within the system were consistent with what the charges are for other CentraCare entities. And at this point, the commitments, with the exception of the capital project, which will complete that commitment and include excess contribution to our community and to the project from CentraCare, have been met. And so that's what we had to present for you this evening, and then there is a resolution for consideration, and I'll let you discuss that. Thank you for having us.
So I'll just say, earlier today, Tarek and I participated in a Zoom meeting with these gentlemen here to discuss what we're doing. The nuts and bolts of it are basically CentraCare has exercised its option to purchase the hospital and all of its components. So all that's left of the hospital district is its taxing authority. And at this point, it's the recommendation of the district to petition for dissolution so that CentraCare can operate on its own as it essentially will, no matter what. I do have one question that we received here at City Hall that I will read. And just based on our conversations earlier, Bob, if you wouldn't mind answering this one, I think you'd be most appropriate for it. The question is from Mark Hislop, who writes, since CentraCare closed the Albany Hospital, where is the guarantee that CentraCare will not close the Painesville Hospital and build a new one, quote, outside the district, like Cold Spring and Wakefield Township. And the reason why I said, Bob, if you could speak to that, is to talk about the operational board that you were telling me about earlier today, perhaps.
We have local people on the operating committee for CentraCare. And the CentraCare's commitment is to build a new hospital here, so they're making their commitment that this facility is going to be here for, I mean, they're not going to spend $20 to $25 million on a new facility and then decide to go somewhere else. So that's the main reason why we're really confident that the new hospital will be going here, because they hired an architect firm and they're already going ahead with the plans. Anything else to add?
Thank you.
Albany was a little different situation than what Painesville was.
So with that, we have a number of resolutions included in our agenda packet. We can take those up tonight. Otherwise, if we'd prefer some time to think about these and read through it all, we can also table it and come back. I know that the tabling was the initial expectation that the district had in bringing this forward, but I thought if we wanted to move forward here, we certainly could. I don't know if there's an interest. I'd entertain a motion to adopt the resolutions or to table, either way.
I'll make a motion to petition to dissolve the Painesville Area Hospital District.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Soini, a second by Hertzberg, to adopt the petition to dissolve the Painesville Area Hospital District. Any further discussion on that?
In 2013, the intent was for this to happen,
Yep.
and I see no reason not to go ahead with.
All right, if there's no further discussion, I'll call the question. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed, nay? That carries.
Thank you.
Then we do have a resolution following that, Resolution 2020-07. Is there a motion to,
I'll make the motion to approve Resolution 2020-07, approving a petition to dissolve the Painesville Area Hospital District.
Should that be 2021?
I think so. Be consistent. It should
Yeah.
be changed.
2020.
I'll second it.
okay. We have a motion by Hertzberg, second by Soini, to adopt Resolution 2021-07, approving a petition to dissolve the Painesville Area Hospital District. Any discussion on that? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? That carries. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Okay. And then to new business, item B, the cable consulting contract with Rudy. Rudy's been with us for a number of years. I know he's working with us on renegotiating some of the cable stuff. So there's a question before us would be whether to approve the fee for 2021.
I'll make the motion to approve Rudy Vigil's cable consulting services for 2021 in the amount of $2,400.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion by Soini, a second by Brick, to approve Rudy Vigil's cable consultant services for 2021 in the amount of $2,400. Any discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? That carries. On to our updated packet regarding 2021 conference attendance. I just know the only conference I plan on attending this year is virtual, so that'll save some money there on lodging. Is there a motion to approve or otherwise move on with these?
I'll make the motion to approve attendance, registration, mileage, unusual expenses, and per diem if applicable to the city administrator and any council member for all the events listed and any of the virtual events.
I'll second it.
We have a motion by Hertzberg, second by Sweeney, as on the action sheet, to approve the attendance, including registration, mileage, usual expenses, and per diem, if applicable, of the city administrator and any council member to the events listed there on page 23. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That carries. On to page 24 of our packet regarding the liquor store lease payment. And we'd be looking for a motion to approve.
I'll make the motion to pay the 2021 liquor store lease in monthly installments of $1,828 plus $10 per month for sign electricity from the liquor fund payable to Teals Management.
Second.
We have a motion by Sweeney, seconded by Hertzberg, pay the 2021 liquor store lease in monthly installments of $1,828 plus $10 per month for sign electricity from the 105 liquor fund payable to Teals Management. Any discussion? All in favor?
Now, after March, we're still negotiating on what the future is going to be, but we kind of have a commitment.
Right. That's my understanding, yep.
Right.
All right, any other discussion? I'll call the question. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? That carries. On to page 25, with the IRS mileage rate, dropped a little bit this year, down to 56 cents per mile rather than 57.5.
Gas got cheaper,
Did,
except in Painesville. I'll make the motion to approve the city mileage rate at 56 cents per mile effective January 1st through December 31st, 2021.
I'll second.
motion by Sweeney, seconded by Brick, to approve the city mileage rate at 56 cents per mile effective January 1st, 2021 through December 31st, 2021. Any discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That carries. On to the nominations and motion to elect the mayor pro tem.
I'll nominate Jean Sweeney, as she has done this in the past.
Jean, are you willing to accept the nomination?
Yes, I've done
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. So we have a motion by Hertzberg, seconded by Brick, to elect Jean Sweeney as mayor pro tem. Any discussion on that? All in favor, aye? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That carries. And we have resolution 2020-2021-01 for the designation of depositories of funds. Any discussion on this or a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve Resolution 2021-01, designating depositories of funds, designating a chief financial officer, and establishing the authority to act.
Second.
We have a motion by Sweeney, seconded by Hertzberg, to approve Resolution 2021-01, designating depositories of funds, designating a chief financial officer, and establishing authority to act. Any discussion on that? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That carries. On to item H, the 2021 council board appointments. I did try and send these out in advance. It seemed like everyone was mostly okay with their appointments, but now's the time to weasel out.
I'll make the motion to approve 2021 council member board appointments as presented.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Sweeney, seconded by Brick, to approve the 2021 council member board appointments as presented. Any discussion on that? I will add one that I did put in here is, and Gene, we did discuss this. I have the Chamber of Commerce representative, and I've been in communications with the chamber on somebody from there appearing with EDAP, so we can work together with the chamber a little bit better. So, any further discussion? All right, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries. All right, then we have our city board member appointments. I will note there's still a citizen vacancy on the Budget and Finance Board, along with the Park and Tree Board. I have been in discussion with a couple of folks who are interested in both of those. As far as filling Budget and Finance, that may have something to do with how we fill the vacancy on the council. And then we're waiting on some more information on Park and Tree. So I think we should be able to fill those two vacancies at our next meeting. But as of right now, they remain open.
I'll make the motion to approve the 2021 city board member appointments.
There's a motion, is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion by Hertzberg, seconded by Soini to approve the 2021 city board member appointments. Any discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That carries. All right, then we need to appoint a data practices compliance official. And we have a resolution doing the same in our packet for consideration.
Motion to approve Resolution 2021-02, appointing data practices compliance official.
Second.
We have a motion by Soini, seconded by Hertzberg, to adopt Resolution 2021-02, appointing data practices compliance official. Any discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? That carries. On to item K, where the 2021 city assignments and appointments. Number of assignments and appointments listed in there. If there are any questions, we can answer them, otherwise we can call for a motion.
I'll make the motion to approve 2021 city assignments and appointments as presented.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Hertzberg, seconded by Brick, to approve the 2021 city assignments and appointments as presented on the action sheet. Any further discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? That carries. Then item L is something that I asked that we at least discuss, whether or not it would be beneficial to move the day of the week that we meet on from Monday to Thursday. Seemed to be the most logical answer in my head, but I know it's not perfect. We certainly don't have to, but I just thought maybe we could discuss it and see if there's a day that works better. I know the fire department meets every Monday. That conflicts with this. It's difficult for Mike Jacobson with the press to get here and to publish things that might be time sensitive. So I thought it might be something worthwhile of having a short discussion on. Is there interest in doing it, or should we just leave it be and move along with our life?
I'm fine with moving it, but I think Thursdays will probably be out for me.
Okay. And I know my wife gave me a stern talking to about some of our Thursday obligations. So.
But if there's another day, then
And I understand you like Wednesdays?
Oh, ha ha. No, but I do know that most city meetings are like Monday through Wednesday, so it kind of leaves Thursday, Friday, for a 4-day planning and I don't know if there's less conflicts on Mondays than Tuesdays. I don't have children in school anymore, so that doesn't pertain.
Maybe we just keep it in the back of our minds, and if somebody has a strong feeling about it, we can continue the conversation.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
One thing too, there's a couple yearly meetings with the fire department and this and that. Would it be possible to make our city council meeting on a different
day or a different Monday when those meetings come around.
The fire district meeting and
The contract meeting and the budget meeting are the two meetings I believe you're talking about,
Yeah,
yeah? And they are never held on a Monday night.
no, they're on Wednesdays.
They're on a night that's open in the month. They are not held in conjunction with council. So we would work around that.
And the fire department sets those, don't they? Meetings, or they work with you? or-
Well, they actually work with Belinda, and Belinda asked me what days are free on the calendar.
There you go.
But I mean, we move our other meetings for various holidays. If we're made aware of something, as long as we have sufficient notice, then we can provide that and post it and all that. I don't see why we couldn't. We just wouldn't want to do it last minute.
It would give us an option to stay on Mondays and still attend those meetings if so desired.
Then we'll set that aside. Going on then to item M, do we want to set a special working session? And it looks like this is a session Jennifer contemplated just for the council, not a community session.
No, they only meet in April and October, the community one. But typically, you guys do a working session in a quarterly basis. So potentially, you might want to meet in January or February. It might be a good session to talk about things that maybe were held over until Tarek got here.
Yeah, I think we definitely should. We want to make sure that Terry is here also.
Yeah.
So we want to schedule it when
After he's back.
everybody can attend.
Well, just next week, any other time I'm fine.
Okay, you're not gone in February at all? Okay. Well, then I think we should pick a date in February, and anything's good with me at this point.
Looks like the 27th of this month is also an option if we wanted. We'll be back by then.
They're all going to be equally terrible for me. Do you have a preference?
I have a preference of not Wednesdays, but other than that.
Okay.
Okay.
Ash Wednesday is like February 17th. So.
Yeah, that's true.
Do Tuesday, February 9th.
Sure.
I think that should be fine for me.
Why don't we aim for that?
Someone want to make that a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Okay.
Set the council meeting for Tuesday, February 9th.
We have a motion by Soini. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Brick. Set a special city council working session for Tuesday, February 9th, 2021 at 6 p.m. Any further discussion? All in favor, aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That carries.
So just let me know what you want to discuss.
Okay. And an annual resolution regarding the certificates of deposits, savings accounts, and money market accounts.
I don't know if it's necessary because there's more people involved in this than there is in the resolution on page 46, but I just was looking at them and, you know, in line A, under number 1 there, the other one includes, or in the absence of the mayor, the mayor pro tem. I don't know if that's something anybody would be worried about, needing the mayor pro tem to be authorized to act under this resolution. I just mentioned it, that it's included in the other resolution regarding check signing.
Probably only happen if it was a long term or something.
I imagine this is the similar language as we've used in years past.
I'm sure it is.
We can just leave it the way it is.
Is that a motion to adopt?
Sure.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion by Soini, seconded by Hertzberg, to approve Resolution 2021-03 regarding certificates of deposit, savings accounts, and money market accounts. Any further discussion? Just to clarify that that is leaving the language as is. So all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That carries. Okay. On to O, which is Resolution 2021-04, allowing for wire and automated bank payments.
I'll make the motion to approve Resolution 2021-04, allowing wire and automated bank payments.
Second.
Okay, we have a resolution by Soini, seconded by Hertzberg, to approve Resolution 2021-04, allowing wire and automated bank payments. Any further discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That carries. The appointment of fire department officers listed on page 44, with Chief Andy Soini, Assistant Chief Mike Stern, Secretary Chris Price, Finance Officer Matt Ellefson, Captain Roger Torberg, First Lieutenant John Kulzer, Second Lieutenant Justin Bogie, and Training Officer Shane Schmidt.
I'll make the motion to accept the fire department officers.
Motion, is there a second? Second by Soini, to approve the fire department officers as listed on page 44 of our agenda. Any further discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That carries.
John's name is just spelled wrong.
On to item Q, the check signing authority and procedures. I will say I spoke with Belinda and Jennifer about this earlier this week as to whether or not I could sign checks, but we looked at the language. This matches the 2020 resolution, which just lists mayor instead of identifying Jeff Thompson or the city administrator by name. So it was believed that that would be fine, and this is just doing the annual adoption of the same.
Motion to approve Resolution 2021-5 regarding check signing authority and procedures.
And second.
We have a motion by Soini, seconded by Brick, to approve Resolution 2021-05 regarding check signing authority and procedures. Any further discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That carries. We have our 2021 fee schedule then listed on page 48 under item R. We'll be looking for a motion to approve unless there's a desire to amend.
I'll make the motion to approve the 2021 fee schedule.
I'll second it.
Motion by Hertzberg, seconded by Soini, to approve the 2021 fee schedule as listed. Any further discussion?
This has always gone through in budget and finance every year. See if there needs to be changes too, so.
And they'll be reviewing it later this year again.
Yeah, we did last year.
Any further discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That carries. All right, then we have a motion, or we'd be looking for a motion to approve a mortgage satisfaction for Bill and Nancy folks. Sorry, I can't call you William. EDAP loan is paid in full, so we'd be looking to clear the mortgage off of that.
I'll make the motion to approve the mortgage satisfaction for Bill and Hansi folks.
Second.
We have a motion by Soini, seconded by Hertzberg, to approve the mortgage satisfaction for Bill and Nancy Fuchs. Any discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That carries. Okay, then we have the same for Gilmore Properties LLC, which has paid off their EDAP loan. Motion to approve the mortgage satisfaction.
I'll make the motion to approve mortgage satisfaction for Gilmore Properties LLC.
Second.
We have a motion by Hertzberg, seconded by Brick, to approve the mortgage satisfaction for Gilmore Properties LLC. Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That carries. And we have a mortgage satisfaction for Richard and Michelle Glenn's. Any questions about this one? Otherwise, we'd be looking for a motion to approve, similar to the last two.
Motion to approve the mortgage satisfaction for Richard and Michelle Glenn's.
Second.
We have a motion by Soini, seconded by Rick, to approve the mortgage satisfactions for Richard and Michelle Glenn's. Any discussion regarding those? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That carries. All right. Now the last item before we lose all of our gallery. Oh, page 66 is discussion of first declaring a vacancy on the council. The resolution calls for accepting my resignation, which I think may have been done at the end of last year. And then we have to decide how we're going to fill that with either a special election. If so, when will we do that? Or through appointment? And if we're going to appoint who, or how that process would work. And my biggest concern with the special election is the cost and the time.
Yeah.
It's going to be very expensive, and we wouldn't have that spot filled for a few months.
I agree.
I agree too. I think it'll be easier to appoint, especially given that it's a 2-year term.
Okay. Then I guess the question would become, who would be appointed to that? Anticipating that we would likely appoint, I did reach out to everyone who ran in last November's election and asked if they had an interest in serving. I also reached out to other folks who I thought might be interested to see if they had an interest in serving. With that, I did hear back, they were interested from Teresa Hacklander, Paul Thielen, Bill Fuchs, and Brian Haynes. Those four have expressed interest. I indicated to the four of them that if they wanted to, they could submit a statement of interest for us to consider. Jennifer printed those out for us here. Or they could come to this meeting tonight. Bill said he's much better speaking rather than writing, so I just wanted to give everyone the same opportunities. Alternatively, what we could do, and kind of what I thought we were going to do, was declare the vacancy and that it would be filled through appointment, announce that on the city's webpage or otherwise publish it, and then allow for anyone to submit their name for consideration at our next appointment. Going through it, thinking about who's ran and expressed interest, I don't know that anybody else would express such an interest, but...
Well, and I think we have a good choice. I mean, a good number. We sure don't need 6 more.
Right, we do have a good number. We have great folks who are willing to step up and serve, so. I don't know, Bill, you're the one who didn't submit a statement because you wanted to speak, so if you want to, I'm happy to give you a couple minutes, and then Brian and Paul, if you also want to do the same, I'm willing to give you the same amount of time.
I have a question first, if it's okay. What happens if it's a tie? Say you two vote for one and you two vote for another, now where's the tiebreaker?
Bill, correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding is that if it is a tie, then as mayor, I select.
Okay.
And
Yes.
it's either from those individuals named
Sure.
or somebody else.
Okay.
That is how.
Yep.
We'll keep this brief because I know it's been a long meeting. I think everyone in the room knows me. I've been a lifelong resident of Painesville. Ran in the last, I was trying to do the math today, and I'm not sure if it was 3 cycles or 4 cycles, but have been involved with the city politics as far as that process goes. Also serve on the city planning board, and I've enjoyed that. Enjoyed the process, enjoyed the communication with other community residents, and I think we're blessed that we have as many people as we do who are interested and want to be participating in this. And I would just ask that the council maybe consider the fact that this isn't the first time I've ran for city council. I've been in this process for a while, and I do my homework. I'm not going to just show up and rubber stamp things. I'm active, and I evaluate the pros and the cons and how it affects people's livelihood and freedoms. And yeah, I think that's about it. Like I said, we're blessed to have as many people as we are who want to participate, but I would love to have myself up on the council. Thank you.
Paul, just because you're at the top of my list, if you want to, I'll give you the next opportunity.
Sure.
I believe I've spoken to everyone here except for, is it Tarek?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm Paul Thielen. I've run for city council a couple times. This last election I did not run because I was under contract with the federal government, Department of Commerce. And that appointment expired on December 31st. So in discussions with my supervisors, they thought it wouldn't be a good idea because of a conflict of interest, so I passed this time around. However, last Thursday, I received a message from the mayor that there was possible openings. And he asked if I'd be interested in it, and I said, sure. And then it came more that we to discuss more of it on Friday, and I told him, yeah, definitely, I would love to do it. And I would also like to be on the Budget and Finance Committee and also on the City Council. I'm a fiscal conservative. In other words, I'm tight with money. And I hope you can appreciate that because I'm not one that's going to open up a checkbook and just let the money roll out. I look forward to joining this great team here, and let's get to work. Thank you.
Thanks, Paul. Brian, if you want to. I don't want anybody to feel obligated either.
I would never pass up the opportunity to talk. So.
I was thinking that same thought.
First of all, I just want to thank you for letting me come here and state my case, if you will. I'm a lifelong Paynesville resident, and actually I feel honored to even be in consideration to sit on the council. I sent the mayor a letter of intent earlier today. I presume you all have it and have read it twice and have shared it with friends and family. When I talked to Sean over the phone, well, for one, I had just gotten up from a nap and saw the message, and probably should have waited about 10 minutes, but I called right away, so sorry if I was a little punchy. But one of the things you asked me are what are some of the things on my mind, what are some of the things that basically I hold dear about Paynesville, things that I would want to work on. And of course, a question like that's hard to give an answer right off the top of your head. And since then I've had some time to think about it. And why would I want to serve on the council for the city of Paynesville? And the biggest thing I could come up with was, or is, I should say, a lot of people look at Paynesville and you see a city of roughly 2,500 people. In the grand scheme of things, that's a very small community. For myself, however, I look at a city of 2,500 people and it's everything. It's the town I've grown up in. It's the town my parents have grown up in. It's the town my grandparents have grown up in. As a matter of fact, where we're standing right now was the original Haynes family farm, so my roots go very deep in the town. And because of that, or I should say, due in part to that, I hold my town in high esteem. Now, some of you might know or probably do know I served as director of the Historical Society in town here for 4 years before moving on to McLeod County at the Historical Society there. And I learned a lot about our town, and it really strengthened that bond I have for our town. When I left there, I felt, for lack of a better phrase, I'll use the corny phrase that, you know, part of me was missing now. Even though it's a small historical society, Being the director meant I was a part of the community. I really felt like I was part of the community. And leaving that position made me feel like I was, in a sense, leaving the community, even though I still live in the community and I'm, raising a family here. So to sit on the council would, to me, bring that back, kind of make me feel part of Painesville again, even though I've never really left. And I can't think of a better way to serve the community than to be on the council. There are just a few things, bullet points, that I do, consider when I think of our town, and it is in the letter that I sent you. One of them is the state of our downtown. I don't think anybody can look at Painesville and deny that downtown Painesville isn't the Norman Rockwell downtown any longer. I know there's folks in the community who want to try to restore that or rejuvenate that. I don't know personally if that's can be done anymore in the society we live in now. We live in a different time than people lived in 50, 60 years ago. Even when I was a kid, and we had 2 grocery stores downtown, a coast to coast, and the cafes and the car dealership and what have you downtown. On the other hand, we have a growing portion of our town on the west end where the overpass has gone through, and ironically, that's where the town began. And when I think about that, do I say, we stick our efforts into rejuvenating a downtown that may not ever come back, or do you stick your efforts in expanding an area of town where there's some real potential to expand and bring in business and really bolster our economy? That's just one of the things that's always on my mind. And another is, I think every rural town is scratching their heads on how are we going to get businesses to come into our community. And not only how are we going to get businesses to come into our community, how are we going to get a workforce to work those, work in those positions. And I see, Shopko and Elko leaving, that really wasn't due to our community, that was due to their, their corporate. But there we are without a big retail chain or retail store in town anymore. And what's the future of that, or what are we going to have coming in here? I also look at COVID. I think, nobody's going to deny that 2020 has been challenging for business owners. I look around town, I see Queen Bee, I see Hilltop, I see the Legion. I see these places that have depended largely on people walking in, sitting down, and ordering food, ordering drinks, what have you. And they can't do that right now. And even though we can do takeout, that's really not going to be the same. They're hurting. I mean, they have to be hurting. And on the flip side of that, we have businesses in town, or former businesses in town, that are sitting empty, stores that are sitting empty. We have the theater right down the street. I mean, I remember going to the theater and having a line all the way back here in front of the old city hall, and that sits empty. We have cafes that aren't what they used to be. We have Northern Lights, or the old Bernie's Barn, sitting empty, and as of right now, there's a question mark to when are those going to fill up. What can we do to help that situation? And I guess what I'm trying to say is, when this mess is over with COVID, what can we do to help pick up the pieces and restore who we are and try to build back to who we are? So those are just a few of the things, I guess, on the top of my head. But if you have any questions, please ask. Now is a great time. So.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for any of the candidates who are here tonight, or folks?
One of each, Reese's?
Yeah, that's a good point, Gene. Teresa did submit a statement. I reached out to her, tried to connect with her over the phone when I realized we might be appointing tonight and we couldn't connect. But she did submit the written statement that's in the packet. She had a work obligation tonight that she couldn't reschedule on a short notice, so that's why she's not here. So it is in the update, but I'll just read it out loud. I love all that Painesville has to offer, from beautiful Lake Coronis, walking trails, and nature trails, to a thriving city of businesses. For a small town, we have a lot of services to offer. Not many small towns have what we have. I appreciate all the committees that provide an opportunity for us to serve on and give back to the community. of which I hope to do more of in the near future. The care and compassion of the citizens of Painesville always amazes me, of their helping hands and willingness to share with others. I could go on and on about all the things that make Painesville great, but that would take pages. To keep it short, I'll say that to be a part of the city council and to help keep this great city moving forward would be a tremendous privilege. Thank you, Teresa Hacklander. Any questions for anyone here tonight? Okay, Bill, I'm wondering if it would be possible for us to do a written ballot for appointment. The ballots would then be read aloud, but to do them in writing perhaps, I don't know.
Certainly could. I mean, you can hold the election in whatever form you think makes the most sense, and if you think that would let everybody express their view without pressure, I guess, of other people's thoughts, or if you want to do it that way, there's nothing wrong with that.
Okay. Then that would be my preference, if we could do it that way. Jennifer, it looks like you created some ballots for us, so thank you.
I'll collect them when you're done if you want.
Yeah, when you're done, I just ask that we hand them to Tarek, who can read them.
Oh, okay.
If we're ready.
In no particular order.
Do we still need to do this motion of accepting the resignation and?
Well, I think let's see where we have for
Vacancy?
votes.
Okay.
Because the reason I said the resolution has a blank for an appointment,
Yep.
I think if we have sufficient votes, then we can incorporate that individual into the resolution as part of the motion.
Okay,
Is that?
sure.
All right, ready? We have a vote for Paul Phelan. We have another vote for Paul Phelan. We have a vote for Brian Haynes. And we have a vote for Bill Fuchs.
So there are two votes for Paul, one for Brian and one for Bill.
Yeah.
I don't know if somebody is willing to turn that into a resolution that we can vote on.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2021-06, accepting council member resignation. Whoops, or is that what we?
Yep.
And declaring a vacancy.
And did you want to name who would be appointed to fill that spot as part of the resolution?
And to approve the two votes for Paul Thielen to serve the 2-year term.
So we have a motion to approve resolution 2021-06, accepting council member resignation, declaring a vacancy, and appointing Paul Thielen to serve the remainder of the term of Sean Ranke on the city council. By Hertzberg, is there a second to that?
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilmember Brick. A motion to approve a resolution 2021-06, accepting council member resignation, declaring a vacancy. Bill, would you mind hanging out for? Sure. Do you have 5 minutes after we're done? Yeah. If we could talk about a committee that you're on.
I was gonna say, we've already set the Budget and Finance Committee, and Paul wouldn't be able to be on there as a council person.
I can leave, right?
What?
I said I can leave, right?
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
You can go.
Well, you're free to go too. I can call you by phone. I just thought it might be easier since you're here.
Thank you, Brian.
Okay. Thank you, Brian. So we have a motion by Councilmember Hertzberg, seconded by Councilmember Brick, to approve Resolution 2021-06, accepting the council member resignation, declaring a vacancy, and appointing Paul Thielen to serve the remainder of the term. Is there any additional discussion on that? Okay, I will call the question. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That carries. Welcome, Paul. Bill, thank you for your interest.
Thank you.
Again, Bill, I just have a few things that I think we could talk about with the planning committee before you leave. But if you'd rather do it by phone, we can certainly connect that way as well. So, all right, thank you. On to item, well,
We discussed that.
Sean, am I still needed here?
well, that's what I'm wondering. Bill, does he start right away?
Do we want him to do the oath of office?
Yeah, you'd
You'd
have
have
to.
to be sworn in, but.
You have to be
do it.
sworn in.
I'm fine with that.
If you're ready to do it, you can do it. I don't-
Are we ready to do that?
Yep.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, next on our agenda would be item W, the community businesses feedback. Mark, you said you gave that earlier.
Yeah, I gave that earlier.
Okay. Are we fine with, oh, we'll wait for Jennifer to take minutes, excuse me.
I don't have one made up for him, but.
I can read it.
You still read it, and then you can just, I could get it signed.
Okay. All right, if you raise your right hand. I, Paul Thielen, do solemnly swear
I, Paul Thielen, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
the ordinances of the City of Painesville,
the ordinances of the City of Painesville,
and that I will faithfully
and that I will faithfully
and impartially
and impartially
discharge the duties of the office of City Council for the City of Painesville,
discharge the duties of the City Council for the City of Painesville,
to which I have been elected,
to which I have been elected,
to the best of my knowledge,
Appointed.
to which I have been appointed,
and I have been appointed
to the best of my knowledge and ability,
to the best of my knowledge and ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
All right.
Thanks, Paul.
So Jennifer, we just said that item number, letter W, we're taking off because Tarek talked about that earlier in his report. So we will go on to letter X, which is our contract for grant writing services to renew and extend the contract between the City of Painesville and Lisa Burlag for her assistance in writing grants on behalf of the fire department.
I'll make the motion to approve the contract for grant writing services 2021. Should that be too, Jen?
Yeah.
Actually, I asked Brad Millhop about that, and he says it's actually for 2020.
Okay. Assistance to firefighters grant program between the City of Painesville and Lisa Burlage.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion by Soini, seconded by Brooke, to approve the contract for grant writing services, the 2020 Assistance to Firefighters Grant Program between the City of Painesville and Lisa Burlage. Any discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed? That carries. All right, then we need to set our 2021 Local Board of Appeal and Equalization meeting on Thursday, April 8th, 2021 at 6 p.m. For those who are new to the council or need a reminder, this is the opportunity for our citizens to come in and appeal their 2021 or 22 property valuations on their homes. If they believe something is in error, it's something we do every year. We just need to set the date so that it can be publicized.
I'll make the motion to set the 2021 Local Board of Appeals and Equalization meeting Thursday, April 8th, 2021 at 6 p.m.
Second.
Motion by Hertzberg, seconded by Soini, to set the 2021 Local Board of Appeal and Equalization meeting on Thursday, April 8th, 2021 at 6 p.m. Any discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? That carries.
Hey, Sean, can I just mention one thing?
Yes.
We only have one trained member, and that is you. So training is available until February 1st, so you have about 2 weeks. It's really ideal if we have 3 members trained in case, well, unprecedented times that we have now, illness, travel, whatever it may be, we have to have 2 present that night. It's not real invasive. I believe Jean has taken it before.
I'm surprised mine is expired.
It is. So if more than one of you could be trained and then print off that certificate you get at the end so that we have confirmation that you did it, that would be great.
I will do it again because it'll, won't take.
Okay, I'll put you down so that we can.
Everybody can do it, right?
Everybody can.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it also helps you understand the process of what's going to take place that night. And then how determinations are made.
So it's open to anybody, any council member.
How is the training done?
It is all online
Okay.
through, and I left you the piece of paper in here.
Okay.
Let's see.
Page 12 on the update.
Yeah, so if you go,
Okay,
if
thanks.
you go on to page 14 of the update, it tells you, I actually just went on there and it's through the Department of Revenue, and it's all online, and it's less than a half hour long.
Okay,
It's really fast when you've been through the process before.
I can do it as well.
Okay.
Okay.
That'd be great.
Then moving on, letter Z. I asked if Derek could look into what it would cost for me to have a city-issued cell phone. Reason being is that right now I have my personal phone, which includes, it's used for my private law practice and my work with the county, so I get law enforcement calls on it and a number of other things. The risk that I fear is, now that I will be getting more citizen contacts as mayor, I'd like to keep separate devices so that I can keep everything city completely removed from all of that. In the event there's a data practice request, then I don't have to worry about any type of potential overlap. I understand the cost is pretty minimal, especially since we might be saving on the overall plan anyway.
Yeah, when I spoke to Verizon, I talked to them overall about how can we reduce our monthly bill. And they're going to get back to me with, they said potentially we can reduce it by about $8 a month per line that we have, which we have in addition to the data lines that you guys use, about 23 or 24 lines. So I said, okay, that's fine. And I think to add a new line, it's just whatever the cost of the phone is plus $38 a month.
If you all say no, I won't object, but I want to put it on here as a request, and that's the reason why.
I'll make the motion to approve the purchase of a new city cell phone issued to the mayor in the amount of $99.99 through Verizon.
Second.
We have a motion by Soini, seconded by Brick.
Is this a one-time charge or a monthly charge?
The phone is a one-time charge, and the monthly bill of $38 is a monthly charge.
Good.
We have a motion to approve the purchase of a new city cell phone issued to the mayor in the amount of $99.99 for the phone, plus the monthly charge through Verizon. I added a little bit of language, but is that your motion?
Yep.
Okay. We got a second by Brick. Any discussion on that? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That carries. Okay. Then we have our water treatment piping project on page 73, and Chuck's going to talk about that.
Yeah, just a little quick update on that project. That one is nearing completion. Essentially, that was a small repiping project that allows the water to go through the filters before it goes into the air stripper. So it was just a change that was completed at the facility. As I mentioned, that all the piping work is complete. They have some miscellaneous work left, but that one will be completed in totality here in the near future. In your packet is a copy of pay request number 1 for that project in the amount of $91,010 payable to Rice Lake Construction.
Any questions for Chuck? Or do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion to approve payment estimate number 1 payable to Rice Lake Construction Group, amount of $91,010.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Hertzberg, second by Soini, to approve payment estimate number 1 payable to Rice Lake Construction Group in the amount of $91,010. Any discussion on that? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? That carries. All right, then we have two pieces of information regarding the new library hours and the Stearns County Waste Management Plan update. With that, thank you all for a productive first meeting, and we are adjourned.